been on my mind for a little while to do this and try to tailor it to fit everyone in the sanctuary here without getting too deep, because metaphysics can be really deep at times. So I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible, but not all of it is simple. So let me start by saying that the International New Thought Alliance published their book, Mind Remakes Your World, in 1941. It was a large body of esoteric inquiry into the nature of reality. What is the relationship of mind to the body and its healing? And how does this reflect the relationship of the created universe to its creator? And just to explain what the International New Thought Alliance is, it was created in the 40s to represent new thought categories and churches, religious science, divine science, and the biggest of all those, of course, is unity worldwide. I had the honor of representing Long Beach Unity a long time ago to go to the International New Thought Alliance, which was at the Wyndham Hotel in Los Angeles. I had an opportunity to meet Michael Beckwith, Arthur Chang. It was just really quite a privilege for me to experience that. The New Thought movement is essentially spiritual. Dealing with the laws of mind, it is also scientific. It assumes that God is not only the final reality, He is the only present reality. Everything that is real is of Him. Our own being is God manifest as personality, that the creative power is individualized in every soul. Spiritual faith, belief, and conviction in everyday life, as well as idealism, the metaphysical position of new thought, underlying everything is spirit, mind, or idea. New thought denies that matter is real in itself, but affirms it is as real as a form of experience. It's mind and it matters, but it's matter and I hope you don't mind. What are the principles of new thought? In Romans 12:2, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Empowerment through changing our thoughts and keeping them changed is what philosophers refer to as idealism. Belief that the world is made up of spirit, not material. New thought believes that there is only one power in the universe. That power is good, pantheistic, meaning that all is in God. In Him we have our life and move and have our being, Acts 17:28. This means we are all parts of God, specifically God, the solution at the heart of every problem. Background history of New Thought. So the three major people that influenced New Thought are Emerson, Quimby, and Hopkins. Just a little background on Emerson. He was a writer, Unitarian minister, poet, speaker, college educator, a naturalist, and lived in Concord, Massachusetts. You've heard of the world writers and philosophers, Kant, William Wordsworth. They got together with Emerson, and it was Emerson who brought the transcendental movement to New England and nurtured its growth in this country in the 1840s. The Greek philosopher Plato developed the philosophical concept of transcendence, which means to go beyond something. There are truths that go beyond or transcend proof. These truths were a private experience of faith and conviction. Emerson interacted with Longfellow, Whittier, Oliver Wendell Holmes, Thoreau, Lowell, and William James. Transcendentalism or New Thought became an eclectic composite of Oriental, Greek, English, French, German, and native thought. Transcendentalism is a belief that there is a higher reality and greater knowledge than that manifested in the human mind. Phineas Parkhurst Quimby lived in Belfast, Maine. He's the second leg of the stool, the foundation of New Thought. And all my research, I couldn't find that Quimby and Emerson knew of each other because they never met and they never referred to one another. But I thought it was interesting because they're both from the New England area. Quimby was a master clockmaker, inventor, invented the bandsaw and compass for ships, and he was also a photographer. He attended an event in his city on mesmerism. He discovered he hypnotized very well and became one of the greatest healers of his time, putting people in a trance, so to speak, and healing their diseases. And he would often say, the explanation is the truth, which is the cure. I thought that was very similar to what religious science practitioners do as far as their spiritual treatments. The third leg on that stool in the foundation of New Thought is Emma Curtis Hopkins. She was known as the teacher of teachers, and she would say, spirit is pure intelligence. There is no place where matter seems to be intelligent, so matter and form is an illusion. She taught over 50,000 students, including the Fillmores, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, Emily Cady, who is the author of the main text that Unity uses for its teaching, which is Lessons in Truth, Belinda Kramer, Divine Science, and later on, Ernest Holmes. I don't think very many people knew that Ernest Holmes had a brother, and his brother was Fenwick Holmes. And him and Ernest were really close at the beginning of their careers, but Fenwick Holmes kind of branched off. He wrote a book called Law of Mind and Action, and that became a very big movement in Japan and also embraced by the International New Thought Alliance. Anyway, I wanted to kind of go over something here that I thought was really interesting about Quimby. Quimby's final view that what is most needed is not the natural man's molding with mind, but the profound self-understanding of one's true self as spiritual rather than mental. Just real quickly, I'm going to go over kind of like his spiritual treatment that I thought was similar to religious science treatments. The omnipresent wisdom, the warm, loving, tender Father of us all, the real man whose life is everlasting in the invisible kingdom of God, whose senses are spiritual and functional independently of matter. The visible world, which Quimby once characterized as the shadow of wisdom's amusements, nature as the outward projection or manifestation of an inward activity far more real and enduring. Spiritual matter or fine interpenetrating substance directly responsive to thought and subconsciously embodying the flesh, the fears, beliefs, hopes, errors, and joys of the mind. Disease is due to the false reasoning in regard to sensations, which man unwittingly develops by impressing wrong thoughts and mental pictures upon the subconscious spiritual matter. As disease is due to false reasoning, so health is due to the knowledge of the truth. To remove disease permanently, it is necessary to know the cause, the error which led to it. The explanation is the cure, he would often say. To know the truth about life is therefore the sovereign remedy for all its ills. Not many people really know too much about Phineas Quimby, and of course Emerson is very well known. Emerson is America's #1 writer, and he's held that title for a long time. Just to go over Unity, Myrtle Fillmore, she had tuberculosis, and she was cured of tuberculosis through a spiritual mind treatment that Unity offers. The things that I'd like to read about Unity are God is absolute good, everywhere present. Human beings have a spark of divinity with them, the Christ Spirit within. Their very essence is of God, and therefore they are inherently good also. Human beings create their experience by the activity of their thinking, everything in the manifest realm that is beginning in thought. Prayer is creative thinking that heightens the connection with the God mind and therefore brings forth wisdom, healing, prosperity, and everything good. Knowing and understanding the laws of life, also called truth, are not enough. A person must also live the truth. Unity's teachings are more a set of directions than they are a doctrine. They are not fence posts that shut you in or shut you out. They are signposts that show you the way to truth that you must ultimately find in yourself and for yourself, which means It's a self-responsibility. A spiritual mind treatment, science of mind, they usually give a statement by stating in various ways the truth involved until we finally realize that the truth is now established and we can let go and let God, knowing that the work is done. So I think my time is coming to a close here. So anything that you might want to talk about as far as discussion, we can discuss this more after the service. Thank you.